Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. All right. For anybody that didn't see my initial reaction to this game, that was on stream. I did a stream right after the game finished, literally right after Saquon ran that ball into the end zone. I hopped on stream. So pretty immediately after that I was streaming. So that's my initial reaction. I'll maybe drop a link or maybe put something in this video to direct you there. If not, it's on my channel, the last video that's up there, my live stream post-game reaction. And the funny thing about that actually is that I was supposed to be streaming the entire game. I ended up being late on that, and I pushed it back to 2, pushed it back to 2:30, and then I just said the Giants are playing good football. I'm liking the way they're taking these shots. I do not want to jinx this. So I just didn't stream that entire game and just said I'm going to just do the post-game stream. So it ended up working out perfectly. And maybe, should I stop streaming for the jinx, for the good luck? Maybe all 1 o'clock games, I'll just have to do that post-game. We'll see. Maybe I'll try to stream next week and figure out how that works out. But I felt like yesterday I had to ride the hot hand and just continue to just watch it off stream and then comment after the game. But big win, huge win. This was a win that nobody expected us to get. This is a win that I didn't expect us to get against the Saints. I just didn't expect it with this defense that they're rolling out. I knew that they would be able to probably run the ball with Blake Martinez out, and they were really running the ball on us. I thought that they would make maybe a couple more big plays, and one got called back, but that was a legitimate hold. And if that hold wasn't there, guess what? Leonard Williams is either sacking Jameis Winston or he's laying him out, and that is going to be an underthrow. That pass would have probably been underthrown and maybe intercepted. So people are saying that, it's just a holding call. We would have had that, but that matters because that ball could have been underthrown or it could have been a sack. It could have been a lot of things. So I'm counting that as a defensive stop because that hold shouldn't have happened. But the defense overall, I didn't really like what they did. It's probably the first couple of quarters. I didn't really like that. But they ended up stepping up that second half of that fourth quarter. It all started when Joe Judge. Listen, I agree with this. I didn't agree with him not going for it on 4th and 1 on that. I think our first or second drive of the game where we had all the momentum. We had just converted a 3rd and 18. I didn't agree with him kicking the field goal on 4th and 1 right there. But I did agree with him punting the ball on 4th and 8 because it shows your team you have confidence in them. You cannot, with over 9 minutes left in the game, pretty much act like there's 2 minutes left and you're in a panic mode. I like the decision. Joe Judge punted the football, punted it back to the other team. The defense actually stood up for the first time this season. When we needed the defense, they actually stood up, made the stop. Azeez Ojulari swarmed in from the backside, tackled Alvin Kamara. They had to punt the ball back to us. Next play, literally the next play, Saquon goes right up the left sideline. Easy pass and catch. Cuts back inside. 54-yard touchdown. Then at that point, you got a 4-point game. Of course, Daniel Jones runs like a RPO option kind of play, and it ends up being a busted play. But DJ has the wherewithal to cut back inside and still get that 2 points. Now we're looking at our defense. We need one more stop. I think they ended up getting, they ran like a 7-play drive. Taysom Hill, they tried to run that quarterback draw, that quarterback power. But the Giants defense actually stood up. And for the second time in as many drives, we stopped them on 3rd down when they tried to run the ball. And we got that ball back, went right down the field, put the ball in the end, kicked the field goal. I felt like we should have been a little bit more aggressive. But, hey, we ended up getting the ball back. Jabril Peppers had the funniest coin toss I ever seen. That was hilarious to me. He had the funniest coin toss. And then we get the ball back. And as soon as we won that coin toss, as soon as we kicked that field goal and it went in, I was very sure that the Giants were going to win this game. That offense was clicking. And it all starts with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has been getting ridiculed. He's been getting all of the hate. Everywhere. It's been bad for years. People have been hating on the dude, not giving him credit, blaming everything that's not his fault on him. but he really showed up to play, had a really good game. I've seen some Daniel Jones haters, some Daniel Jones doubters on Twitter, on YouTube, really give him credit. So it shows how good of a game he played. I have some of the next gen stats up here. If you look at his passes over 20 yards. He has 4 passes over 20 yards of, air distance of 20 yards. He completed 50% of those for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. This is what we've been asking for. Deep shots down the middle of the field to John Ross, down the sideline to Saquon Barkley. This is what we've been wanting. This is exactly what we've been wanting. He tried 2 deep shots on the right side. I forgot what happened. I think one was just completely overthrown. The other one I think may have been overthrown too. But in that middle and that left side, Daniel Jones was money. He hit a ton of passes in between that intermediate range. And I think that was really the key to this game. That was really the key to this game. And this point, 4 for 5 on the left side, 1 for 1 and 1 for 1 in the middle and right sides of the field. So that's all together. He was 6 for 7 and between 10 and 20 yards. So this is exactly what we've been missing from Daniel Jones. He's been consistently good when he throws the ball deep, pretty good when he throws it short. But in that intermediate area of 10 to 20, he's always been a little bit shaky, getting the ball out. But today he really showed up, or yesterday he really showed up and did his thing. Daniel Jones performed all day. Really performed for me. So Daniel Jones played well, put the team on his back, ran when he needed it to, put the ball on target for the most part. There was a couple of throws, but that's every single quarterback. You're not going to have a quarterback play a flawless game. Even those games where you have a quarterback complete, all but 2 or 3 passes, some of those catches that those wide receivers make are just great catches that bail out their quarterback. So Daniel Jones played well. That one interception was on the Hail Mary. Other than that, he looked really good. A lot of people are saying that this proves that he's the guy. I'm going to lean towards that, but we still got to finish up the season, guys. Still got to finish up the season. Let's not get let's not get out of hand with it. But I do feel like Daniel Jones is the guy. I'm just not going to declare that it's just completely undisputed and, we can't change our mind from now into the end of this season because there's a lot of football left to be played. But if he continues to play like how he's played so far this season, there's no reason he's not the guy. And a big reason that he is the guy and is looking like the guy is the fact that Andrew Thomas is playing lights out. Andrew Thomas is playing lights out football, flawless football. The dude isn't giving up any pressure. He's not giving up any hits, not giving up any sacks. The entire offensive line, shout out to Rob Sale. No sacks. No sacks from the offensive line against a good Saints front. This is a good Saints front, and we couldn't run the ball much against them. But passing the ball, we were able to really do our thing. No sacks. I think we had a couple quarterback hits, but I'll live with that. It's the NFL. No sacks. We ran a ton of play action where Daniel Jones turned his back to the offensive line, turned around, still had protection, was able to go through his progression and take those deep shots. You cannot take those deep shots or as many shots down the field or as many times where he had the ball for over 3 seconds without a really good offensive line, game from them. I'm not going to say they're all good players, but we had a really good game up there on the offensive line. Now to get into some more of the big picture stats, and then I'll get into some of the things I liked from the receiving core. We got dominated in time of possession, but we put up 485 yards of total offense. 485 yards is pretty good to me. 83 rushing yards, 402 passing yards, but 485 has to be the most that we've put up. And it might be the most we put up in a long time. 21 first downs. That's always good. 60 total plays for us, 65 for the Saints. So even though they kind of dominated us in time of possession with, they beat us in 10 minutes, 37-27, we kind of still got to run the same amount of plays as them, 5 less plays. So overall, the Giants really came to play. Coming down from that deficit, 11-point deficit in the fourth quarter, to not give up for this team that's 0-3, to not just, say, hey, we just, Colin Johnson in overtime had a illegal formation penalty. We could have easily given up right there. But what do? We get the ball to Saquon, 14, 15 yards. I think it was 2nd and 14. I think we got 15 or 16 right there. So this is what we need. When I made my prediction for what I thought would happen before the season started, this is what I was basing it on. Get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. What did we do all game? Kenny Golladay, check. Kadarius Toney, check. Saquon Barkley, check. Daniel Jones, check. All of these guys touched the ball. John Ross, complimentary piece. So I said it on Twitter 2 days ago. I feel like John Ross is going to make a big impact on this game. And guess what he did? When you have your playmakers, and I'm going to hover back over this. Andrew Thomas, he's not a skill player, but he's a playmaker. Andrew Thomas showed up. Saquon Barkley showed up. Kadarius Toney showed up, and Kenny Golladay showed up. We have to make sure that we get the ball in these playmakers' hands as much as possible. Because how do you be a team that can overcome mistakes and overcome bad penalties? Get the ball in your playmakers' hands. It's 3rd and 18, guys. 3rd and 18. We dump the ball off to Kadarius Toney, and he gets 19 yards, or he gets 18 yards. This is what I mean. Get the ball to these guys. Get them chances. You have to let them touch the ball. Kenny Golladay on a slant route catches the ball, breaks a tackle, and runs for 20 more yards. This is what I mean. Get these guys the football, and that's exactly what Jason Garrett did. I don't know if it had to be for Darius Slayton and Sterling Shepard to get out before this happened, but I'm glad that we got the ball in the hands of our best players on offense. And that's how you have a game where you put up 485 yards of total offense. Now, I am excited for Sterling Shepard to come back, but one thing I'll say is I really don't want Darius Slayton to come back and take reps away from John Ross and take reps away from Kadarius Toney when I don't feel like he's going to make as good an impact as John Ross and Kadarius Toney, just being honest with you. I mean, even Colin Johnson looked competent at times that it just seems like they're better fits in this offense. Darius Slayton only looks good when he's running that fly route. And we have to have guys that can have some variation in there, that can run an in route effectively, that can run a comeback route effectively, not a curl route, but a comeback route where you set the guy up and then you come back off of a streak. We have to have guys that can run these routes effectively and get open and create space, because if not, Darius Slayton is kind of out there wasting the space. And this isn't any hate against him. I just think he's a little bit too one-dimensional to get time over these guys. Another thing I noticed as far as the next-gen stats go, league average and separation was 2.88 yards per play, I guess. Kadarius Toney, 3.28. Kyle Rudolph, 4.03. I don't know, we didn't target him much, but shout out to Kyle Rudolph real quick for recovering that Saquon fumble, because Saquon could have been getting a lot of hate from Giants fans today, but he ended up bouncing back and getting that game-winning touchdown. But Kenny Golladay, 3.35. We had a ton of guys, Kadarius Toney and Kenny Golladay, the two stars of the show. They got separation more than the league average, and it's usually the exact opposite from what we see from a week-to-week basis. So I'm just glad that we finally were able to get the ball in our playmakers' hands. If Kadarius Toney and Saquon Barkley and Kenny Golladay, and when Sterling Shepard gets back, if those core four guys, along with Daniel Jones, so you can say core five, if those five guys are touching the ball most of the game, good things will happen. Daniel Jones has had turnover issues in the past. I'll live with it. He's the quarterback. He's going to make good plays. He's going to make bad plays. And for the last, 10 games, he's been making a lot more good plays than bad. So live and die with your best players. That's all I can ever ask for. And that's what I hope we do, coming up against Dallas. So good, hard-fought game. I cannot wait to get into this next game. Hopefully we can string together 2 wins. I'm not going to put together any big picture predictions of how the Giants season is going to go now that we won our first game of the season. But this is definitely a good start to put together some momentum to go into a tough division matchup against the Dallas Cowboys, who are playing some good football. They really are. They put up 36 easily against the Carolina Panthers defense, who I feel is a much better defense than ours. So we got a tough week of preparation going on for the Cowboys. I will be here to talk a little bit more in depth about how I think we can beat the Cowboys, how I think we can attack them. And it just feels good to finally have a win, guys. hang in here. I was thinking it was going to take a long time before we got to see this team really achieve anything of any kind of merit. You never know with this team. You never know when they count us out. We always seem to step back up. So you guys let me know what you think of our first win, what you're thinking going into this Cowboys game, and what was your favorite part of this past game. If you made it this deep into the video, come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.